Yes, it is, for sure.
Right.
I've been trying to lay down my own impression of you. It's been bloody hard. I have this proclivity to try and integrate the different hierarchical substructures and to not sound like Kermit the Frog. It's pretty damn hard. Come on, Jordan. How dare this whippersnapper come here, this little smart alecky who looks like Ken doll, to try and imitate us? Come on, that's pretty. How do I can't even put my hands on it. Come on.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's so funny when people imitate me, I can hear my accent.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Very funny.
I'm bloody wrong. Clean your bloody room.
So when you do that,
yes,
when you're practicing to do that,
would you mind if I talk to you and try to
it'll be very
my own voice with
it'll be very distracting. When you do that, do you have to adopt the posture? Yeah, you do. You have to, and the face.
Yeah.
Now you're going to make me turn all red here. How terrible. Yeah.
Well, it's an
now I'm sweating.
Sure. You shouldn't sweat.
Yeah.
Come on. But anyways, I'm still trying to. I can't believe this.
It was pretty good.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep modulating and trying to find the best version. Well, send my best to Tammy, if you will. All right. I can't believe I got this up. What grade do I get? A
Very
B?
funny.
A B is fine.
It was pretty good.
Pretty good. A minus.
Sure.
All right. Then.
Sure.
A minus from Dr.
Good
Peterson.
to have some room for improvement, just so you have something else to do.
That's definitely.
What else?
For sure.
What other voices can you do?
Well, Donald Trump is here. Dr. Peterson, so great. I mean, he called me a viper. I mean, I'm the biggest viper ever. I have the biggest fangs. And I mean, we're going to make psychology great again. You take a look at Biden, he's a total lunatic. He's a nut job. He can barely get 2 sentences out, Dr. Peterson. So, I mean, we're going to have such a great debate performance. Do you have any suggestions for me, perhaps?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Any debate suggestions? Biden can barely talk. He looks like a mummy. Little mummy. He's petrified. He's going to go down the tubes. Believe me. Well, come on, Jordan. I need President Biden here. We got to cut the malarkey. By the way, where the hell am I? What's this place all about? You have any suggestions? Because I want to take down this goddamn fascist that's one that kills democracy in the United States. How about my age? Come on, folks. Number one, my age. Do you think that'll be an issue for Americans? That's an actual question. Did the cat bite your tongue out?
That's great. So what I see when you're doing that, it's so interesting to watch. Hey,
it's. I mean, there are different dimensions to it, I guess. Gesticulations, facial, manual, vocal, for sure. So it's a construction. I want to hear your take on it. I'm here to hear what did you decipher from this?
I've watched great musicians, and when I watch, especially guitar players, I can see them. I can see the musicians they've listened to flit across their face while they're playing. And so that's what you're doing when you're imitating, is you're playing. And so here's what happens to kids when they're playing. This is very interesting. So imagine that we have a great realm of potential that can be investigated, that's encoded in our genetic heritage. And that can make itself manifest in many different ways. So you could torture a child into becoming a criminal, for example, or you could encourage them into becoming someone good. There's a big range of possibility. When a child plays, which is exactly what you were doing, when a child plays, they experiment with different forms of being, and that they embody that so deeply. There's a way of thinking about that. They're embodying a spirit that's a neurological and muscular pattern. And if they practice that, that's going to produce a transformation that's so deep, it's even going to extend down to the genetic level. And when a child's playing, he's playing with all the possibilities that he could become, and practicing becoming one of those. And part of the reason it's fascinating to watch someone imitate the way you did is because it's like watching someone turn back into a child. Right, because you're playing.
You're calling me a little child? You have 12 rules. I got 13 rules. They're better rules. I mean, they're even better. You're calling me a little child. By the way, if I get this segue here, you even called Trump, in a way, his bully tactics, even
13-year-old.
childlike.
Oh yeah.
What
He's
they-
very good at that.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I have this funny book. It's very funny. It's a library-bound edition that's called the Collected Poetry of Donald Trump, and
yeah.
it's all his tweets typeset very beautifully and put in this quite lovely volume, and it's insanely comical. He has an insanely good sense of humor. It's very pointed, but he does have that. I did a pretty careful study of bullies when I was a kid because I was small. I was the youngest person in my class, and I was small for my age as well, and so that made me a pretty good target for the bullies. And I learned in part to defend myself against that verbally, but I also studied the bullies to figure out what they were up to. And Trump is a very, very good bully, about 13 years
yeah.
old in that
The best-
regard.
the best
And
ever.
it's also not an insult, because I've talked to people who've known him on the foreign policy front, for example.
It makes him unpredictable,
It
right?
does. Well, it's also the case that if you're on the world stage and you're dealing with the pathological rulers of pathological states, the probability that you're going to be dealing with bullies is 100%. And Trump actually knows how to do that. And so it makes him unpredictable, and it adds an element of kind of adolescent.
Tactics or...
It's hard for me to get it right because it's a limitation in a way, and that's partly what makes Trump such a divisive figure, because people respond with aversion to that bullying element of his character. But it's hard to criticize it too deeply because it's also arguably what makes him an extremely effective debater, and also possibly capable of making peace on the international stage.
Oh yeah, I mean...
Because people don't know what the hell he's going to do.
But facts are
Yeah.
stubborn things.